welcome to Winfield's week of rugby league. In fact, the first weekend of the 1987 semi-final action. For one team, of course, it's the end of their playing commitments for 1987. For the three others, they stay alive in that race for the elusive Winfield Cup. But first off, let's go to all the action at the Saturday semi-final between Balmain and South Sydney, remembering that it is sudden death, the loser dropping out altogether in 1987. And as both teams took the field, they've been struggling to find their best form in the last fortnight of the Winfield Premiership proper, and Sydney rugby league experts were struggling to find for themselves a favourite for the match.
The State Bank Big Game presents the Winfield Cup.
Hello and welcome to the Sydney Cricket Ground for today's sudden death minor preliminary semi-final in the Winfield Cup between 4th place Balmain and 5th place South Sydney. The Balmain team today, led on by Captain Wayne Pearce, is Jack, Gartner, Conlon, Schofield, Davidson, Gale, Neil, Pearce, Brooks, Maguire in 22, Roach, Elias and Hemsley. South's captain Mario Finnick leads on the Rabbitohs, and their full team rundown is Cruikshank, Moon, Phil Blake, Michael Blake, Marvin, Neville in 14, Coleman, Ellison at lock forward, Roberts and Davidson in the second row, Boyle, Fennick and Johnson. The referee today is Greg McCullum. They're ready to kick off in this minor preliminary semi-final, and sudden death is the name of the game. They lose and they're gone. Elias is elected to kick out to the right. The ball's been taken by Gartner, magnificently caught. He's got the ball in the South Sydney quarter. Now let's see whether Balmain can attack right from the outset. Brooks takes it up very strongly, only about 18 metres out from the line. Elias at dummy half. Dummies to Roach, gets it to Hemsley, wide of the ruck, stands in a tackle, gets the pass away to Elias, back to Brooks. Brooks out to Pearce, Pearce going straight and hard. He's got to within 10 metres and they upend him very close to the sideline. Elias again, the ball was struck for there, obviously wasn't touched. Pearce, the little fella, Michael Neal, put a grubber kick through, which was rounded up by South Sydney. So a frenetic opening to this match. Both sides know exactly what's in store. They lose today, that's the end of the section. All the hard work, all the pain and anguish and hard work of training down the tube. Mario Fennick coming away with some tough stuff from dummy half. Mr. McCullum is the referee and he's going to have his hands full this afternoon. There goes the kick downfield. Ellison got it away. Jack's racing for it and it's a kick back over the sideline, over beyond halfway. A great start. And already Russell Gartner, even though he's been out for a month with a depressed fracture of the cheekbone, has shown that he's lost none of his skills gathering that kick-off. Neil elects to go the blind side. Good tackle by Coleman, brings him down. Gartner found a little space there in the ruck. Coleman appeared to throw a punch at him. Maguire, strong, very compact player. Steve Roach, driven sideways in the tackle. Lindsay Johnson takes him head on, and there's the tackle for failure, a penalty for failure to get away from the tackle player, holding the leg according to the referee. See it again.
So the referees will be strict on this right throughout the semi-finals. Interesting to note that Steve Roach hit that ball up a little bit wide of the ruck, so they're trying to test out the defences of Darryl Neville.
And he gets it, so that's a giant confidence boost for Conlon and Balmain. So the score at the moment is Balmain 2, South Sydney 0. The quick kick-off taken by Ellison. The ball's gone back there. Hemsley dives on it, falls back. The ball was lost, but lost backwards. This appeared to be a little knock on there by Maguire at dummy half. Just a little one, but it's going to give South Sydney possession in their own quarter, or the Balmain quarter. Now Cruikshank's come racing up to get into the lock position. I just noticed that from the fullback role. Cruikshank came hastening up. After Roberts, about 20 metres out from the line now. onto Boyle. He goes up the blind side. Tackled about 15 metres out. Coleman. Darryl Neville doing a little bit of stepping there. He's in number 14. Davidson can't release his hands. Stood momentarily in the tackle. It's the last tackle now. Fennick. Ellison gets a kick upfield. Neil has got him again. Picked him off. Oh, the ball's hit a Balmain player on the head. Play on, 6 to go. I'll swear that hit a Balmain player right on top of the head. Coleman. Neville. Tackled about 10 metres out from the line. It's all South Sydney at the moment. Boyle. Johnson surges forward. He's 8 metres out from the goal line. Coleman to Neil, to Ellison, back inside to Davidson. Fennick could well have a go from here. He's a very hard little man. No, he's not going to. There's a kick that's been put in. The ball's hanging loose there. Hemsley might have fallen on it. It's now in the end goal, and it's knock on all ways. Well, frenetic stuff here. The pace and tempo of the play is very, very fast. Now, it's going to be a scrum feed to Coleman, so we must assume that Balmain knocked that on and attempting to pick it up. Pivots round to the blind side. Cruikshank, the fullback, trying to back towards the opponent's line. He's tackled. Jason Moon runs some dummy half. He's run well, beaten a tackle, and finishes up 2 metres out from the line. Mario Fennick sights the line, burrows. They're about 1.5 metres out. Coleman onto Lindsay Johnson. Johnson surging hard for the line. He's only about a foot away. Fennick, Coleman, the little kick through. It's a race for the line, and it's going to be a try. It's going to be a try to, I think it's one of the Blakes.
Phil Blake's the man that's picked up this kick from Craig Coleman. A great little chip from Coleman. Nobody back. Benny Elias tried to read the play here, but Phil Blake, they've been lacking pace, South Sydney, in recent weeks. They've been lacking a little bit of drive, but this is the man that can turn it for them. Blake, look at the pace, just rushes by that Balmain defence and snaps up a great kick by Coleman. He attempted it only a few moments ago. The kick was charged down by Gary Jack, and the result, a scrum, more possession and pressure, and up comes the try for South Sydney.
George Piggins, the coach there, looking very intent. I suggest he's getting some instructions out to his team. I must ask you, David, did you see Cruikshank hurtle up from fullback and get himself into the scrum on that about 3 or 4 minutes ago?
Yes, I did, and Craig Coleman was quite cranky that he hadn't read the play at the time, because Davidson was hovering out in the centres. It was obviously a ploy by George Piggins, and Cruikshank hadn't read it at that stage.
Well, the rules are fairly precise about the number of players that can be in the pack and in the backs. That's why George would have been concerned about it. The kick from Ellison is unsuccessful, so the score is South Sydney 4, Balmain 2. Back towards the halfway line, Coleman to get it back into play for the restart. Kicked a little bit of sand there, but it's still a giant kick. Very close to going over the dead ball line. Cruikshank. He's evaded 1 tackle, evaded 2, gets it out to Jason Moon. Moon's got open space in front of him, but Gartner comes across and picks him up. He's got beyond the quarter. There's a kick through, 6 to go. Onto Cruikshank. Boyle now takes over, and Pearce rides him into the ground about 7 or 8 metres outside the quarter. Fennick, Ellison, Johnson hammered into the ground. Midfield, 5 metres out from the quarter. Roberts trying to get a one-handed pass away. The ball's gone astray. So that will be a scrum, and I believe it's going to be a Balmain feed. Yes, let's have a look at these lower grade results. Cronulla 18. Well and surely put the Cleaners through Penrith 2, and they proceed into the major semi-final next week. Eastern Suburbs 14. Canterbury Bankstown 2. And they proceed. Well, South Sydney have been judged to have been offside, and another from the set scrum. It will be a differential penalty, And Gale will attempt to kick the ball over the sideline. He's done that, and it's not a bad kick either. About 9.5 metres out from the goal line. To Elias, up to Pearce. Pearce on the surge on the blind side. Had Jack outside him, but couldn't release the ball. Some of the South backs are offside. At the moment, Neil. Maguire putting his head down and charging. Elias, Steve Roach. Didn't really look as though he was prepared to get that football then. Elias from dummy half. And Roach in a very unaccustomed position for him. A dummy half. Scott Gale. Last tackle coming up. And that'll be a penalty. It'll be a penalty for reaching through the ruck and handling the ball in a ruck area.
Quite correct in his ruling, but McCallum could also have pegged off the South Sydney inside backs on any one of, say, 4 tackles there, well and truly inside the 5.
And Wayne Pearce has really done a job on this nose of his. I think he damaged it badly last week in a tackle that he came in contact with Gately. The Manly pop forward, accidental. And now again today. Conlon kicks it. So the score now, Balmain 4, South Sydney 4. The scrum went down. Cruikshank's chiming in to make the extra man. He's a strong young fellow and pretty quick. Coleman at dummy half onto Boyle. Brooks stands his ground and they drive him back. The ball's been lost behind. Scooped up by Coleman. A cut-out pass there has gone out to Marvin. Marvin's going well. He's pushed Pearce out of the way. Davidson comes at him and now Jack, and they've given him a little bit of hammer. He's getting up, swinging his arms and pushing away, but now the ball comes out on the open side, out to Davidson. Davidson trying to inject himself into the back line. Neville. Mario Fennick. Pass gone free, back to Neville. Neville on the accelerate, gets to the quarter line. Coleman. Johnson. Last tackle coming up now. Ellison, quick hands to Coleman. Ball's gone high. Jack stands his ground, can't handle it. It's taken by Roach. It's not taken by Roach. It's on the ground, and it's going to be a penalty. I believe there's something erupted on the ground now, and all the players come surging in. I believe Gary Jack touched it. The ball went forward, and Roach fell on it.
Well, I was also watching Roberts, the ball coming forward there to Brooks, and ruling that Brooks, of course, was in an offside position there. So says Greg McCallum, but for mine, Ian Roberts was well and truly in front of the kicker. Here he is there, putting the pressure on Jack. The penalty there should have gone to Balmain.
Mark Ellison has got 101 points for the season from 4 tries, 41 goals and 3 field goals. He makes no mistake with that one. So the score now, South Sydney 6, Balmain 4. Conlon. Drives a little bit shorter this time. The ball's taken a bit of a left-hand turn. Ellison scoops it up, playing in his lock forward role. Comes out 2 metres from the quarter line. Marvin. Coleman on to Roberts. Roberts has got 5 metres out from the quarter. Well, that pass was a horror. I think Balmain have come up with it through Michael Neal. He scurried away. Scott Gale going very well, using strength, and been dragged over the sideline, I would have thought. Yes, the referee agrees with me. So there's a penalty to Balmain. See it again.
So here's Scotty Gale just about to hit the deck here, and well and truly dragged across the line there by Blake. And more problems for South Sydney, again making mistakes in their own quarter, fumbling the ball.
They didn't take the kick at goal, they took the quick tap. And there's another penalty. Les Davidson getting penalised for aggressive work on Hemsley. Now it's moved in about 13 metres, so... Well, there it is. It's moved in about 13 metres, so Conlon will have a kick at this one. He's had 2 from 2. And he's made it 3 from 3. The score then 6-all here at the Sydney Cricket Ground, Balmain and Souths. Elias cut out pass to Pearce. Pearce is into the clear, getting up towards the halfway, gets it back inside to Gardner. Gardner seemed to stumble slightly there. He's been picked off by Coleman. Now Balmain on the move, out to Neil. Neil dummies, weaves, and I think Coleman's been taken right out of it, and we might get a touch judge's report. We will. The touch judges both are coming in. You might like to see that again. This is a classic example of somebody getting tackled under suspicion.
And not only under suspicion, they were all offside. There it is in back play. Ross Conlon down. A big hit from David Boyle. Well, he might have looked as though he was going to get the ball. Here he is coming off Michael Neal, but crunch. Well, certainly not in possession, and Boyle was a mile offside.
George Piggins very interested in the outcome of this deliberation. Well, he stays on the paddock. It's only been construed as holding. So Conlon, having had time to recover, will try to make it 4 from 4. This is the most difficult of his kicks. He's only about 12 metres from the halfway line, 13 metres perhaps. He's about 7 or 8 metres off centre, but he has the breeze almost directly behind him. And distance won't present a problem. Ross Conlon moves in now. He's got it. So he's really come back into form today. So the score now is Balmain 8, South Sydney 6. Fennick, Johnson, Roach and Hemsley have got him there. Fennick, Coleman. He put out to Michael Blake, who's ridden into the ground on the halfway line. Mario Fennick, Neville, Coleman, Davidson, one-handed pass to Coleman. Coleman back inside to Cruikshank. Cruikshank tackled perfectly. A stopping tackle from Gary Jack. Fennick's gone under a head-high tackle from Hemsley and slipped through the gap. But there's a penalty now against... Yes, it's going to be against Hemsley, I believe. See it again.
Well, it's a difficult call, this one, by Greg McCallum. He's picked up Hemsley here in kicking position for South Sydney for the head-high tackle after he played the advantage only a few moments ago for Balmain, letting one go to Phil Blake, and that one was aimed on Wayne Pearce. So, well, he's got to call it as he sees it, and on this occasion, it's tough for Balmain. They should have got a penalty much earlier for the one on Blake on Pearce.
The kick is successful, so they're all locked up once again. Balmain 8, South Sydney 8 in this seesawing match at the SCG. Neville cut out pass. It's gone nicely on the bounce to Cruikshank. Stands his man up, goes round him. Schofield comes again and puts him away. Blake on to Phil Blake. Michael Blake, Coleman. It looks like a great kick. It's a grubber kick aimed for the sideline, and it's gone into touch only about 6 or 7 metres from the corner post. A beautiful kick. Well, 4 minutes and 38 seconds to go to half-time. We've got a touch judge in.
And also, David, we have a change in the South Sydney side.
Yes, Wayne Chisholm's come on, and the player going off is Lindsay Johnson. But I'll tell you what, the South Sydney players have tried to niggle at Wayne Pearce. It's worked. There's a very solid tackle on Ian Roberts a few moments ago, which Roberts reacted to, and for the first time I can remember, I saw Wayne Pearce actually throw a blow on a football field. So obviously the niggling tactics are getting to the Balmain captain.
Scrum's won by Balmain. Michael Neal makes an inroad beyond the advantage line. Gary Jack gets driven a little bit sideways there. They're still inside their quarter. Out to Gale. On to Pearce. Stands in the tackle but gets beyond the quarter. Elias. Gale. Lumps it downfield. Cruikshank to Jason Moon. He's found a hole to run to, and he's running to it up beyond the halfway line, and it's Conlon that has to tackle him. That was a good run. Coleman. Davidson. Trying desperately to get his arms free. Coleman. Roberts upended there by Elias. Good tackle round the boots. Fennick. Back to Ellison. Coleman. Boyle. On there to Michael Blake. He's going strongly. He's not going to get there. He's tackled into touch about 10 metres out. It was a good sprint. A great defence there by Gary Jack and Russell Gardner.
And the Balmain defence starting to fall apart in the last 5 minutes, dropping off tackles, gaps appearing, and Phil Blake nearly taking that to the full advantage there and pulling off a try prior to the break.
About 2.5 minutes to go. Balmain feed the scrum. Won by Neal. He has to just fall on it because Coleman was all over him. Gardner, the old pro, tries to come round the blind side of that ruck. Maguire. Elias out to Brooks, who starts off running in a crabwise fashion. That's no way to go. Back to Gale. Cruikshank's fielded that. It went desperately close to the sideline. He's got some pace, this young man, too. But they handle him well. Chisholm. Michael Blake. Neville comes to grief there on the tackle of Conlon. Coleman. Maven loses possession. 1 minute 19 to go to the break. 8-all the score. Anyone's game. Neal. Gary Jack kicks ahead. He's going to give a penalty. Jack was run into. But these days, you never know. Players can act. See it again and you be the judge.
Well, George Piggins has got a job on his hand, as I said, at half-time. Here's Jack in the field with the kick. The shoulder charge going into the fullback. And another gift 2 points for Ross Conlon.
Well, Conlon must think all these Christmases have come at once. Moves in now. He gets it, so that's 5 from 5 with 4 seconds to half-time. And the Balmain side are going to come from the field as 10 points to 8 leaders over South Sydney in this match at the moment. The scorers for Balmain have been just the one. Ross Conlon with 5 goals from 5 attempts. South Sydney have scored a try. A great grubber kick by, I believe, Coleman, and a great chase by Phil Blake, who was able to translate that into a try at the northern end of the ground. Goals, Ellison, 2 goals from 3 attempts. Balmain 10, South Sydney 8. I'll be back with more in a moment. Well, Mr. McCullum's got them away for the second half. There are no changes in either side. The kickoff has come. Schofield's got it on to Davidson. Davidson's going to try to get it out of the quarter. And he does that. Elias onto Steve Roach, who boils upfield for 7 or 8 metres. That pass looked forward from Elias to Maguire. Neal. Plenty of solid defence still coming in this game. We did notice that the Balmain side were dropping off tackles in the last 10 minutes of that first half. There's a kick through by Benny Elias, who did the kick in the first place. There's the kick. This could be a goal. Scott Gale scooped up the ball that had been kicked twice by Balmain players, and he was able to get going with it, but was picked up immediately. Now there's a penalty been awarded to Balmain. That's a succession of play there that was very difficult to follow, because Balmain players, there was Elias coming through, getting the ball to it. Jason Moon was unable to handle it. It was kicked again by Davidson. Gale was set to score a try there, and a very fine tackle from Michael Blake put him away.
And Mario Fennick was the man coming from an offside position who kicked that ball away in the play of the ball. For mine, if I was Greg McCallum, I would have sent him straight back to the dressing room for 5 minutes.
This is only about 18 metres out and only about 10 metres off centre. He's got it, so that's an astonishing performance by Conlon, a man who was badly out of form, comes back with 6 from 6. Balmain 12, South Sydney 8. Ellison to kick off for South Sydney. Schofield takes it, brings it out beyond the quarter. Solid defence from Davidson there. Elias runs from dummy half, runs the blind side, stops, weaves, and then falls over because he's about to go over the sideline. Jack very involved in trying to run the ball away. Elias away to Scott Gale. He's kicked downfield. He's found the wide open spaces. The ball bounces around a bit for Phil Blake. He's kicked it back. Jack takes it on the first bounce.
Balmain is certainly a lot more fired up. They really did need that half-time break. They were coming up with a lot of missed tackles just prior to half-time. And they, as I said, especially a man like Steve Roach, he hasn't had a lot of football in 1987. So Balmain, with a lot of replacements up in their sleeves in this second half, Steve Roach man, who will most likely to come off and serve in a replacement.
Conlon scooped up that ball that had been thrown, rather elaborate pass from Elias went to ground. There's Maguire. He's lost the football. The referee apparently is happy that the ball was knocked out by a South Sydney player, because he stopped play immediately. Blake's on the move, getting up beyond the halfway line, still going, gets a pass away out there to Cruikshank, the fullback. He kicks ahead. There's plenty of players there at the moment, and it's run over the dead ball line by Michael Neal. A moment of drama for the Balmain side.
And a moment that will take them back just virtually 6 days to Leichhardt Oval. This is where all the problems came for the Tigers out wide. Ross Conlon badly missing Phil Blake, so problems still out there in the centre defence line.
Now Scott Gale going to attempt to get this ball back upfield. Sort of a drop kick. Straight to Marvin. Well, he runs straight at the Balmain defence. No subtlety about it at all. Coleman on a Davidson. Has the ball stolen by Elias. Elias is going to go away. He kick starts and goes again. On the blind side goes Brooks. Makes about 6 metres up the blind there, but there's been a player prostrate on the ground here at the moment. The trainer's in to see what the trouble is, and a touch judge is in to report.
Well, you'll see it there as Benny Elias tries to fend off Coleman. Whether he was intentional, he certainly copped a forearm or an elbow to the side of the face, it appeared in that replay. He hasn't moved since the tackle. Here it comes, the forearm coming up, the elbow crunch, and the touch judge hasn't missed it.
George Piggins there must be very happy that Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, because he's very busy on it. Now Ellison, 9 metres out from the quarter, 13 or 14 metres in from the sideline. It's unsuccessful. So the score remains Balmain 12, South Sydney 8. And he goes as far as Chisholm, 9 metres from the halfway line. He steps back and shows a good turn of speed to bring it back to within 1 metre of the quarter line. Coleman, Ellison, Davidson standing very wide, almost an outside centre on that occasion. Mario Fennick, Coleman, back to Fennick, sticks his head down and goes, but the defence is equal to the task. Gets to his feet, plays it, there was no marker there. Darryl Neville weaving, running, gets it there onto Ellison. Ellison ran out of support. He's tackled only about 3 metres out from the line. Coleman does the grubber kick through. It's taken by Coleman, and it'll be a penalty. They were all offside. Not back to 5 yards or to the goal line, whichever is the nearer. Yes, Paul Sirenen's just made an appearance on the field, and he'll be replacing Steve Roach, who is apparently running out of steam a little bit.
Yes, that is the situation. That means Maguire will come up into the front row. Now, Andrews has also come on, warming up on the touchline here in front of me. So, obviously a replacement coming up in the South Sydney lineup as well.
The score is Balmain 12, South Sydney 8. No trouble with that, so back they come again, the South Sydney side. Balmain 12, South Sydney 10. Elias once again. Neil, Gale did well to hold that. The ball bobbled around his hands as he was hit by Neville. Schofield, Elias, kicked it. Ross has taken it. Brings it back towards the halfway line. 7 metres from it, in fact. Cruikshank.
Both sides tending to run one out at this stage. This game is virtually sitting up there and waiting to be won. Somebody's got to take it, really put a stranglehold on this game. Craig Coleman for South. He's got to start to organise. And Scott Gale for Balmain. I think the chances are on out wide if they can set up their backs.
Roberts, Chisholm. Good driving tackle there by Brooks. Coleman, Ellison, Boyle, spins through a tackle. Tackle midway between the quarter and the halfway. Coleman kicks ahead. The chase is on. Gardner's got to it first. He'll bring it back. Andrews has been beaten. He's doing well. He's got the pass outside to Neil, and Neil taken up about 10 metres beyond the quarter line. Gets up, plays it again. Only made a couple of metres on that occasion. Plenty of activity in this game. On to Hemsley. Hemsley charges forward. This is a blood and guts contest, let me tell you. They're not taking any prisoners. Schofield. Player down. There's Davidson going strongly up the sideline, and his feet have just touched the sideline.
Well, this no doubt will be a penalty to Balmain. Ben Elias well and truly hit late after he unloaded the ball from the dummy half position. Ian Roberts, keep your eye on the marker here. The ball's gone. Bye-bye, Benny Elias. This has got to be brought back, and a penalty to the Tigers.
Well, Gale's going to kick for touch. That's the upshot. Well, there's a fellow that knows a bit about grand final football you've got with you, David. I'll let you introduce him. The fans will be delighted.
Yes, we've got the great legendary Changalang Lang. Graham, it's great to have you on the touchline. You're a bit disappointed, though, only one try so far in the semi-final.
Yeah, that's right, David. There's been a lot of hard knocks out there, but just a pity that there's been 18 points scored through goal kicks. But naturally, that's been winning the game.
Well, Graham, it's been a week of mixed emotions with the special guest at the Rothmans Medal on Tuesday night, but also the sad passing of a great old teammate, Popper Clay.
This is right, David. He was a great player and a great man. He was a gentleman off the paddock and one of the toughest guys that I've ever seen on the football paddock.
OK, well, enjoy that special tribute on Tuesday night.
Thanks very much, David.
OK, Graham Langland's Rex, and just reflecting here earlier about some of the great moments here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Next year, of course, we're off to the Sydney football, the new arena there. But I was just reflecting on that great triumphant march by St George and the big involvement of Popper Clay that he made during that premiership run by the mighty Dragons.
Yes, David, it's all very well for you to talk about it, but I had to play against them all during that period, and they were monumental. I can tell you, they were monumental. But a great side. All right, well, we're back to the action here with only 2 points of difference. South Sydney have got the bit between their teeth. They're charging for the Balmain line. They're standing in tackles. They've moved it out to Andrews, to Chisholm, to Coleman, back inside to Neville, who's been a little bit more advantageous to the South Sydney side this week. Under Robertson, he's broken the first line of defence and got into the quarter. Oh, I thought he was going to go on with that. Then he gets it out there to what's his name out there on the right wing, Mark Ross, the replacement. And now there's a South Sydney player being decked. And we'll see the incident again. And apparently it's going to be an opportunity for Sirinen, is the man that's responsible. It's going to be an opportunity for the South Sydney side to get on level terms.
Well, it was a push, and geez, you know, if that's going to cost Balmain 2 points, I certainly don't think there was too much to that.
Yes, well, it may well do cost them 2 points. It didn't look very much to me. Now, this is a critical kick. It's Balmain 12, South Sydney 10, 14 minutes to go. Ellison moves in. He's got it. So we're locked up at 12 all with 14 minutes to go. Fasten your seatbelts. South Sydney win the scrum. Coleman has it at the base of the scrum. Andrews onto Davidson. One-handed pass. Andrews loses it. Back to Neil. He runs crossfield. He evades the Ellison tackle. But he doesn't evade the Cruikshank tackle, who flew at him and got him chest high. Conlon.
Now, this is where Paul Sirenen's got to come into his own. He's been sent out there with only some 24 minutes when he were only left on the clock when he went out there. He's got to come up with a lot of work, and he's got to be the man that's got to cause that trouble for South Sydney. Here he is now heading out wide of the ruck.
But all his running is done with a slight side-on bias, and it's no way that he's going to get through the type of work is required of him doing that. He must time his run and run straight. Now Gale, out to Neil, well taken, had to reach for it, out to Jack. Jack away to Schofield. Schofield's over halfway, going well, gets it out to Gardner. Gardner's going up the field. They've got a very nice passage of play going for them. They've made some mileage. Now let's see whether they can put it all together by bringing it back. Well, there's a stupid attempt at a field goal from a long way out that went nowhere to Phil Blake, and he's elected to run it and brought it back 30 metres. I don't know what took Benny Elias's fancy there with that field goal. That was not on.
But Balmain did show that if you can set yourself out in the backs, find your back line and line them out properly, these sides are very, very tight, and there are gaps out wide.
Midfield, South Sydney in possession just outside their quarter. Andrews was the player that took all the time. That kick's been charged down. Ellison waves is instructed by the referee at 6 to go. Cruikshank onto Phil Blake. He's got himself into the clear. He's looking for support, and there's a lovely tackle from Michael Neal. Picks him off meters into the Balmain quarter. Out to Coleman. Coleman out to Darryl Neville, who props a little bit and comes back inside. That's a criticism I have of him. Ellison, Davidson, Andrews, back inside to Ellison again. South Sydney racing back into position, rather Balmain racing back into position. Mario Fennick running from dummy half, got a pass away of sorts. Good backslamming tackle on Andrews there. Neville kicks and chases. Gary Jack drops it, falls on it, picks it up, and finally has to go down on it. So it'll be a line drop out to restart the play. Watch that action again.
And a good kick from Darryl Neville. He saw that Gary Jack was a little bit out of position. They were all setting themselves and waiting for this field goal. Now, South Sydney don't want to have to play the 10 minutes extra each way. Now, if we're locked at 12 all at full time, it's 10 minutes each way again. So that's why Benny Elias set himself for the field goal. Now, South Sydney have the perfect opportunity. 3 or 4 tackles. All they have to do is set themselves for the post and set up a field goal specialist either side of the ruck.
Oh, Maven hit beautifully by Pearce and a front-on tackle that wrecked him. Coleman, Boyle, another fine tackle, this time by Brooks. Elias is there to assist. Coleman, there's a drop at goal, is it there? It's there, South Sydney have hit the front. They lead by 13 points to 12. And Phil Blake is the man that's been the difference in that respect. He's come up with that one-pointer at a critical time. Can Balmain come back from it? That's Ellison playing at 5'8" on that scrum. Oi! Boyle and Brooks came together. Roberts. Good tough run. 13 points to 12. South Sydney lead Balmain. 6.5 minutes to go. Mario Fennick. Coleman. Out to Ellison, who's playing as a 5'8" now. Last tackle. Coleman. Little grubber kick being put through. It'll be a good one. And goes into touch only about 5 metres out from the Balmain line.
To keep off the Sydney Cricket Ground at the end of today's semi-final.
It's exactly what's needed.
And anyone moving on to the SCG will be prosecuted in the arms. Please for your cooperation and fairness to the players.
One by Balmain. Neil started to go around the open side, changed his mind. Davidson picked off by Coleman. Hemsley. They've used up 3 tackles, getting about 7 yards. Elias, Gale, Pearce. Pass back inside to Jack. Jack to Gale. Gale out to Conlon. Held the ball, dummied. Looks for support. Kicks ahead. It's a race to the ball now. The ball will go towards the sideline. South Sydney have not got it. There should be a penalty to Balmain there, holding a man off the ball. Here's a moment for Conlon.
Well, definitely a penalty here again, quite correct. A great opportunity for Balmain. Nearly a good kick from Ross Conlon. Gartner pulled off the ball here. And Ross Conlon, well, the pressure on him before he went into the game about having to come up with a kicking performance, and Scott Gale then really having the Balmain supporters take their heart into their mouths there and really take
a long cut-out pass to Conlon. Out to Maguire. Maguire throws the dummy, gets it back inside. The ball was knocked on by, well, I thought the ball was knocked on by a South Sydney player. He's going to allege that the ball was touched by a Balmain man.
Well, this ball that goes back inside, this is a very important decision to see who comes up here with the feed. Well, he's ruling and allowing Balmain to come up.
Gale on a Jack. We've got 2 minutes exactly to go. And South Sydney would be elated over that decision there, because that pass has been ruled forward, which gives South Sydney the feed. That pass there was forward from Gale to Jack. And there's another penalty being awarded for incorrectly kicking for the football in the play the ball. Now this should just about take South Sydney into the match next week. Ellison drives it. He's kicked it, and that is South Sydney through with only 49 seconds to go. 15 points to 12. They've scored a try and a field goal, And the man that's really done all the good work for them in the way of being a little bit deft with his explosive speed was Phil Blake. But here comes Balmain, but they've lost the ball, trying to play, as Jack Gibson would call it, catch-up football with 26 seconds to go. South Sydney should be able to play out this 6-tackle sequence without any drama, without any pain, and get themselves a week further on in this situation. Chisholm busts away. 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. The crowd have set up a chant. And there it goes. South Sydney are through into the match next week with a 15-12 victory over Balmain. Blake scored the only try of the match. Blake kicked a field goal and Ellison kicked 5 goals from 7 attempts. Conlon 6 goals from 7 attempts. South Sydney 15, Balmain 12. And there was the look on the face of a coach of absolute desperation.
It all started more than 20 years ago, when many of us were still pups. 2 big men, though one was small in stature, gave birth to the Winfield Cup. Since that time there've been many who've played the game to the end. They played it tough, but they played it fair, and walked off the field as friends. That's what the big game's all about.